By this time next year, Cadillac will have 5 electric models in its lineup, and all but one of them are SUVs. And the car is the $340,000 Celestiq. So if you want a Caddy sedan that's a little more down to earth, you have to go old school with the CT4 Compact or this CT5, which is actually a little new. This generation of the CT5 first went on sale in 2020 and hasn't changed much since then, although for 2025 it does get a new face. The interior has also adopted Cadillac's new widescreen instrument cluster and infotainment system display, but is otherwise pretty much the same as last year's model. Even kept these buttons and toggles on the dashboard below the screen. And you won't hear me complain about that. Aside from that, it does have a couple of new features, including a 5G hotspot, Google built in for that infotainment system, blind zone steering assist that'll tweak the wheel away from cars you're accidentally turning into when changing lanes, intersection emergency braking that does a better job with cross traffic, traffic sign recognition that can match the speed of the car to the speed limit, and a driver attention system that comes with the Super Cruise feature, which is Cadillac's hands-free highway driving aid that provides both lane centering adaptive cruise control and automatic lane changes either on its own or when you hit the turn signal stop. Powertrain choices also remain the same. You've got the entry-level 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder rated at 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, and the 3-liter twin-turbo V6 in this one that's rated at 335 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque. And there's also the higher performance CT5V with 360 horsepower version of this engine, and the CT5V Blackwing, which has a 668 horsepower supercharged V8, but we're going to be focusing on the regular CT5 today. And, well, that's pretty much it. It's a mid-size American luxury car, which makes it unique because Lincoln doesn't make that anymore, and neither does Chrysler. In fact, if you want a sedan these days, you got to go electric with Tesla or Lucid. And those cost a lot more than this does. Prices start at $48,990, and the V6 is an extra $3,500, while $2,000 more gets you all-wheel drive, which this one has. Really what you've got here is Cadillac lifting its foot off of the EV accelerator a little bit. It originally put all its eggs in the electric vehicle basket. It was planning on going all EV by 2030, but has now slowed that transition down a little bit. But in the meantime, it apparently wasn't working too hard on its gas-powered vehicle, so it's just gonna keep this one rolling for a few more years. And that might not be a bad thing because it rolls pretty well. This car is also significant because when the Chevrolet Malibu goes out of production in a couple of weeks, it will be the last mid-size sedan from any General Motors brand. Buick gave them up a few years ago. But it has something even more in common with another Chevrolet model. That's because this and the CT4 are built on the same platform that the Chevrolet Camaro was until it went out of production last December. And it definitely injects a lot of sport into this sedan. Although this isn't a true high-performance mod, they made it sound good. Definitely can't get that from an EV. I am not exaggerating when I say it is one of the best vehicle platforms ever made. Ride, handling, and road feel on par with anything in this class from Europe or Asia today. This trim doesn't even have a computer-controlled suspension system, and it doesn't matter. It's perfectly tuned, and even on junky roads like this one, it feels great. One thing this definitely doesn't try to be is a big, plush Cadillac sedan of old. If you're getting this from an SUV, it's like taking off a ski parka and putting on a Speedo. Feels very cozy. But there's plenty of legroom up front, and even in the rear, a 6'1" passenger like myself can fit behind a 6'1" driver, although the headroom is a little snug. This is a great car for long road trips, although your trips between gas stations won't be that long because it only gets 21 miles per gallon. The fuel economy could definitely be more impressive even before we start talking about switching to electric. And Cadillac hasn't been talking about that at all, at least as far as mid-size sedans are concerned. So it could be making this one for a few more years. But it is a perfect example of the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.